finally move over to 2019. So officially, the ILS VRC competition ended in 2017. There have been different variations since then of models. So GoogleNet had different versions of it. ResNet came up with also sort of improvements on the model. But the main ideas remain the same. In 2019, there's this very interesting paper. So this is recently a paper that came out, which I thought was worth mentioning, called EfficientNet, where in this case, they find a way to scale different convolutional neural networks. And I linked to the paper here. I recommend you read it. What's really interesting is that they actually used a really fancy algorithm to figure out what the best base network can be, and then used a bunch of different math formulations to figure out how to scale a network. So what's really interesting here is you can see that here we have in red, we have different variations of EfficientNet based on how they can scale it up and down. And so we have the number of parameters here and the ImageNet top 1 accuracy score here. And you can see that by scaling your model up, you actually can get much better and higher accuracy than different state-of-the-art models. So you see, for example, ResNet 152 is over here, and we can get much higher accuracy with much less parameters. So again, research keeps on evolving in this field. There's always new and new papers coming out and claiming to be better. And every once in a while, there's a paper that comes and really kind of changes the game. And it's really interesting to keep up to date with these different models. So let's do a little bit of a recap now. All the classification networks that we've seen, they've been kind of tuned to work best on ImageNet. Right? So we have this very large data set, a couple million images, we have 1,000 categories, and they all follow this very similar design pattern. We start with an untrained CNN, we come up with a certain architecture, we stick a bunch of fully connected layers at the end, we do a softmax for our 1,000 outputs or our 1,000 categories, we then train it on ImageNet, and we hope to come out with a trained convolutional neural network that is able to classify our images. So how can we use what we've learned on smaller data sets? So maybe, again, you're from industry, you have your own internal data sets, you don't have access to millions of images, you don't have access to thousands of categories, and you want to still be able to use what's been learned by ImageNet.